So the first thing that you're going to need to do is obviously remove the airbox. Now you can see today the bumper is removed in the headlight. This is because, as well as filming this video, I'm doing some other tweaks to the car. So you don't need to remove the headlight, you don't need to remove the bumper. To remove the airbox, it's very simple. I'm going to show you now. So start with this sensor here. We're just going to unclip it and just tuck that out of the way. You may find on a new car it might be cable tied or clipped up here. Just make sure that you get rid of that. I always find the easiest way of getting this airbox out is to remove the cold air feed. So to do that, you just pop the coolant hose off, and then you undo these two screws here that hold the cold air feed on, and they are a T30. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a 7mm socket, and we're just going to undo the primary induction hose. So 7mm takes that away. Obviously I've undone that, and then this just pulls off. So once you've pulled that out, you've undone them two screws and you've taken the sensor off, then this just lifts out. So as you can see, lift it all out together, make sure that you're clear of the hose, and then on the back of the airbox is the clip that I was just referring to, what the wire is on. And sometimes you just need a pair of pliers just to give it a prick off. So take your pliers and just take that off. Now once you have taken the wire off, taken the screws out, this just lifts out, and as you can see, that's the full airbox. So to get the dual air feed off of the airbox, you're going to get a flathead screwdriver and you're just going to push down on that clip and on that clip, and we're just going to pull it off. I will film it for you, but I'm going to time lapse it just so it doesn't take a while. You may find if it's the first time that this has ever been done, that might be stiff as a pig, it might be a nightmare. If it's ever been done before, you find that they're a lot easier. Just be careful not to go too hard because you will damage it. As you just saw, mine came off in seconds because it's already been off once before. The next thing that you're going to do is get this sensor out of here. Now you'll see that it's got an arrow that tells you which way to twist it. Now you're going to do is gently grab it with a pair of pliers and you're going to twist it out. Now just be gentle, try not to go too hard, don't squeeze too hard because you will damage it. And all you're going to do is you're going to twist this in the direction that it tells you to. Okay? And you'll see that it'll start to come out. So once you've released the seal, you're going to twist it. See how it twists there? And you're going to twist it and pull towards you until it comes out. If you look inside, you can just see where the wings are, and just keep twisting it until it comes out. There you've got your sensor. I'm just going to pop that aside for 1 second. Now if you're also replacing the hose, you are going to need to take this off. And again, it's just a 7mm socket, and you'll see that it's just at the back there. Undo it, and then it literally pulls towards you. And you can take that aside now and put it away. Now the crossover is the tricky bit. I've tried multiple times to film this and I struggle to film it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk you through what you need to do, and then I'm going to set the camera up over there facing this way and do a little bit of a time lapse. So first bolt you need to take off is this here. This is a 10mm socket. You then need to remove this and this. These two are just plastic clipped on. Remove the clips and they come off. And then you come over to this side and you undo this here, and it also attaches just down to the side of the pipe there. And once you have undone that one, you can see that just there is a 10mm bolt. Once you've undone all of them clips, all you need to do is go down to the bottom near the turbo, where there is a 7mm Jubilee clip that attaches it to the turbo, and then you can detach it. I'm going to do it for you now. So that's your old one, that's your new one. As you can see, there's a massive difference. You've got increased centre bore, no turbulent channels, no compressed and squeezed parts, just a beautiful straight pipe. Right, so as I mentioned, we tried to film it, but just because as you can see, there's no room at all. We've not been able to. But That's the new pipe on, okay? So you can see that down there you get a silicone coupler and it's just 2 Jubilee clips. You just fasten them on, make sure that they are nice and tight. And at this top part here, the bolt is now back in on that bracket. As you can see, the bolt is now in on this bracket. This just pushes on, and so does this. Now, as you can see, we've used a little bit of WD-40 just to ease the clip on. Sometimes the powder coaters do go a little bit crazy on the pipe, so on that outlet, if you're struggling to get the pipe on, just use a little bit of sandpaper, sand off the powder coating, and then you'll see that this will go on nicely. Just make sure that everything's tight. There should be really little to no movement there. If it moves, it should be moving with the engine and not on its own, and if it is moving, you've done something wrong. But yeah, simple as that. That's the crossover pipe now on. So now we're going to start building up the induction kit and putting it together. And this is our version 2 cage, which going forward, once all the V1s have gone, this will be the main cage. So if you've got the version 2 cage, then you need to follow this video. They come with 2 feet, so you'll notice that they don't come attached, and it's simply bolt, washer, foot, and they just need to literally be finger tight. It's as simple as that. So build them up and I'll show you how to install it. So when you're installing the intake, I always find it easier to do it without the hose. So if you are replacing the hose, leave the hose off to install the airbox part. If you aren't replacing the hose, it's always good just to take the hose off. It just gives you a little bit more flexibility. Now what you're going to see, these 2 feet here and this hole. The 2 feet just sit nicely in the rubber bungs and the hole goes over that. And this simply drops into place. Give it a push down and you'll notice that there is still a bit of flexibility, but it doesn't go anywhere. Now once you've got your hose and your filter on there, that isn't going to go anywhere. So now we are going to put the hose on, which is here. Obviously we're installing a nice green one to match the car. Make sure that you put your Jubilee on first. You'd be surprised at how many times I've forgotten that. And always with these ones, put the Jubilee on that side, just where you get your entry. So what we're going to do, we're going to feed first of all down through the hole in the cage and then push it over the crossover pipe. And it's as simple as pushing it on. And as you can see, once it's pushed on, you then just need to pop your clip over there and fasten it. What I would say with the clip at the back, don't fasten it just yet until you've got your filter on, as if you find any sort of rubbing with the filter, you can twist the hose like so, and that gives you a slightly different angle of where the filter is going to sit, and you'll see that in a moment. Next, we are going to take your filter and your sensor. You'll see that I've already put the sensor tube in the filter, and what I would always say is make sure that this goes to the bottom. Just anything ugly to the bottom, just make sure that it looks aligned. Now what you're going to do is you're going to undo this part here, and you'll see that this is just a small screw and a clip, okay? Just pop that aside, don't lose it. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to take this sensor, and can you see how there's a slit there? The slit is for the tab. So pop the sensor in and you'll notice that it'll be quite tight. Obviously that's the O-ring doing its job. And very, very tight in this instance. If you need to give it a twist, just give it a twist, and as you can see, it's now in. So as you can see, that's now in and flush. You're then going to take that tab again, put it over the plastic tab and re-screw it back in, like so. First of all, do it finger tight. Once it's finger tight, just take your Allen key and fasten that so it's nice and tight. So once that is in and tight, it should look like that. Okay, next thing we're going to do, insert the filter. So pop your hose up through the hole, make sure that that lines up correctly. Don't do what I've done and forgot to put your Jubilee clip on there, which is what I asked you not to do a few seconds ago, and I've done it. And I think my exact words were, "You don't understand how many times I've done this." Well, now you do. So, Jubilee clip in first, okay? Next, filter. Just be careful that you don't scratch anything while you're pushing it in, and give it a good push. Okay? Now, alignment on this, it's all preference. Obviously, you need to make sure that your filter, the wire for the filter, can reach, and you'll see that the wire is just there. So just make sure that this wire reaches onto there, and that it's got enough slack so that it's not rubbing on your cage. So can you see there, there's a little bit of slack, it's not rubbing on anything. If you find that it is rubbing, just twist this further that way, and as you can see, it just gives you more flexibility. So again, that's preference. Next thing you're going to do, you're going to pull your Jubilee clip back down here and fasten it up. So your intake is now on. I've now tightened this clip now that everything was needed to where it's supposed to go, and I've also tightened this one. Now this one, you just need to make sure that it doesn't rub on anything, so you could probably get away with bringing it a bit more this way, or if you wanted to, go underneath, although that's going to be an absolute farce to get to with the ratchet. I like to have logo visible, obviously, with it being our logo, and then obviously your filter, you just need to make sure that it's free of anything and that nothing rubs. You need a little bit of movement, because obviously when your engine moves, the airbox moves, so this is totally natural. And once everything's in there and snug and your lights back in, this ain't going anywhere. So yeah, that's literally the intake kit installed. Simple as that.